Hi friends. Today I'm not going to read for you from the red book, but I'm going to tell you a story. The name of the story is called A Very Nervous Spider. Once upon a time, there was a spider by the name of Adrian. And Adrian was a spider that didn't like to eat insects. So one day he was hanging out at his house and he heard something shake his web. And he was like, "What was that?" And then it shook again, more stronger than before. And it kept shaking, shaking, shaking. So Adrian got up real fast and he ran over to see what was causing his spider web to shake. When he got there, he seen an insect. Now, usually when spiders see insects, they're very happy to see them. But Adrian was no ordinary spider. He was a special spider that didn't like to eat insects. Have you ever heard of a spider that don't like to eat insects? Wow, Adrian was one of them. So, when he got there and he seen this big fly caught in his web, he was like, "Oh my goodness, I don't want to have to eat this guy, even though I'm starving," and he was so hungry. And so the fly seen him, and the fly turned and said to Adrian, he said, fly got scared. He said, "Please, please, please don't eat me. Please, please don't eat me." And so the spider said, uh, and as soon as he was saying that, his neighbor, the other spider across the street, seen him and he said, "Hey, you better eat him. He's a nice, juicy fly." And he says, "What? Are you scared to eat him?" And Adrian looked at the neighbor and he says, "I'm not scared to eat him," because he's trying to be brave. And then, meantime, the fly was continually begging for his life and said, "Please don't eat me." And so the spider Adrian said, whispered in his ear, "Listen, I'm not going to eat you. I'm going to make it in a way that you can get away, because I really don't like insects." And the fly was like, "Wow, you don't like insects? You don't like to eat insects?" Adrian says, "No, I don't like the taste of insects." He says, "Well, guess what? If you let me go, there's a place called Spiderville. It's spider paradise." He says, "Where flies and spiders live in harmony. They don't eat each other." So Adrian said, They don't. So what do they eat?" He says, "Well, they eat lots of fruits and veggies and fruits like strawberries and veggies like tomatoes and lettuce and salads. They eat all this cool stuff." So uh, Adrian was intrigued. He was like, "What? Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you go. But you got to bring me some of that food back, because I am super hungry." So the fly said, "Okay, I'll bring you some of this food back." So he nibble, 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 and he pretended he was trying to attack and eat the fly, so his neighbors wouldn't see that he's letting the fly go. Because in Adrian's land, it was against the law to let flies go, because you have to eat the fly, and if the fly was too big, you got to share the fly with all the other spiders where Adrian was from. So the fly got away, and the neighbor seen, and the neighbor came up to Adrian and he was mean to him, and he says, "You let the fly go. I'm going to tell the spider police that you let the fly go, and they're going to take you to away and deep in the forest, and you can't live here anymore." So Adrian was like, "No, no, I didn't let him go. He got away." He says, "I know, you let him go, but I'll let the spider police decide." So in the meantime, his neighbor went and to call the spider police, and the spider police came over, and he says to him, "What happened here?" And so the neighbor said that Adrian let a nice, juicy, fat fly get away instead of eating him and sharing him with us. And Adrian said, "No, no, no, I didn't. And then his fly friend, who he let go early on, heard him saying that and heard the commotion of what was going on. And his fly friend turned to all his fly buddies, all 100 of them, and he says, "Listen, you've got to go save him, because this guy saved my life. He didn't eat me." So they all got together and they went over and they lift up Adrian's web, because they were all helping each other. So when you help each other, when you cooperate and help each other, you can do a lot of really cool stuff. And they said to Adrian, Adrian, take this web and hang on. We're going to fly out of here. And I'm going to take you, instead of you going to live and deep in the forest, I'm going to take you to Spider Paradise, where I'm from. And so the spider police was trying to get Adrian, and Adrian hung on to the web. And before the spider police could grab on to get Adrian, the flies lifted him up and took him to Spider Paradise. Adrian was like, oh my goodness. When he landed there, it smells so good. It smells of fruits. It smells of strawberries. It smelled of apples. It smelled of melon. It smelled of all the juicy stuff, kiwi, all the juicy fruits. And he couldn't believe it also had candy and cake. He was like, oh my god, candy and cake. Oh my goodness. And there was even soda. All the cool stuff that kids really, really love to eat was in this spider paradise for the spiders and the flies to eat. And Adrian was in spider heaven. He couldn't believe his spider luck. And then he started nibbling on this juicy strawberry because he was starving. And when he was eating it, this other girl spider came over and she says, hey, aren't you the new kid from across the way? And Adrian said, yeah, I'm the new kid. My name is Adrian. He's like, what's your name? She says, I'm Roxanne. Roxanne? And Roxanne was kind of a cute spider. So Adrian liked Roxanne. And he says, Roxanne, I don't know anyone here. Is it okay that you will be my friend and introduce me to everyone? And Roxanne said, of course I will. He says, but first you have to ask my dad, because my dad's been wanting to get me married for a long time. And she said, now that I met you, I think you're going to be the one. And Adrian and Roxanne married and lived happily ever after in Spider Paradise. The end. I hope you like that story, guys.